Hi, it's Scott Vogel on sex addiction. I'm going to share with you the answer to the question, what is the treatment for sex addiction? With a multitude of treatment options available for every kind of issue, problem, and addiction, it can often be very confusing to figure out, well, what is the best treatment for which issue or which treatments work at all? It seems these days there's different treatments for every disease or illness imaginable. They say take a pill, they say meditate, use acupuncture, get body work, have this test done, and the list goes on and on. And if you or somebody you know is suffering from sex addiction, you may find yourself at a standstill when you consider what treatment's available. So we're going to cover a few of the most effective treatments. The official treatment, and I'll use the term official lightly. Basically, here we're talking about treatment methods that are looked upon favorably and cast in the best light by society and the mental health community. The first is therapy, sex addiction therapy. Sex addiction therapy is usually an individual setting where somebody deals with a certified therapist. And the second is inpatient treatment, where somebody goes to a facility for usually anywhere from 2, 3, 4 weeks up to sometimes a couple of months. So first let's look at sex addiction therapy. Sex addiction therapy focuses on many areas, but among them, abstinence of course is first, teaching the sex addict how to stop acting out on their impulses, their obsessive compulsive sexual behaviors. Sex education is an important part of learning what is healthy sexuality. Many sex addicts may never have learned what it is to be sexually in a healthy way with themselves and another human being. Focus 2 is on trauma history. It's found that most sex addicts have had some sort of trauma in their backgrounds. Intimacy is a very key issue that is focused on in becoming intimate, looking into oneself and being comfortable with oneself and their relationships with themselves and others, and then the consequences of what the behaviors have done or potentially could do. Through learning about the origins of the addiction through these processes and the problems that contribute to its existence, the sex addicts usually can learn to stop their destructive behaviors and continue on their path to recovery. The challenge with this treatment, this therapy, is it can take a long time, years in fact. It's usually said anywhere from 3 to 5 years to get into full recovery through sex addiction therapy. And a lot of people just really aren't willing to take that much time to be involved in a specific treatment. So that's when people will oftentimes, if they can afford it, turn to inpatient treatment. Getting treatment in a sex addiction treatment facility is really a great option for recovery. The intensive programs that these facilities offer, they actually take a lot less time because you're focusing on your recovery day in and day out. It's not a once a week or a twice a week session for an hour. That's all you do is work on your recovery. The challenge too is that it can be quite overwhelming to deal with so much in such a short period of time. You're dealing with the same issues that you deal with a therapist, only you're dealing with therapists on an hourly basis sometimes, day in and day out, until you do the work that you need to do. The challenge with inpatient treatment is you're usually secluded from friends and family and work. You have to take time to be away from loved ones and responsibilities and work. And this can present a major issue for a lot of people. But many people like the fact that this is a shorter process and can get their lives back in a shorter period of time. Now, there is what I'll now call an unofficial treatment for sex addiction, and that method involves 12-step programs. 12-step programs in sex addiction are modeled after Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12-step program that's been in existence for many, many years. Some may consider this a subpar method to treating sex addiction, but Attending 12-step programs is a phenomenal way to gain support from others in similar situations that you're not going to find in individual therapy. And once you leave treatment facilities, you don't have the same people around you. So 12 steps offer a lot of support. One thing to be aware of is you're in meetings with other addicts, so don't let the feelings and actions of other people rule your decision about the value of 12-step programs. Some people go to meetings and say, wow, these people are really crazy, or I can't really do this. Remember, it's all about you, or it's all about the person that needs recovery. There's a saying in the rooms of 12-step recovery, take what you want and leave the rest. So leave whatever you don't like and just take what's going to be helpful to you. What you'll find in 12-step programs is there's a lot of people that are having success in abstaining from their sexual behaviors, staying sober, and recovering the lives that they truly want. Remember, in these programs, it's important to stay focused and to be determined to reach your own recovery. So, just a quick review of what we discussed is, sex addiction therapy works on abstinence and sex education and trauma history, intimacy, and helping the person to see the consequences of their behaviors. In inpatient treatment, it's very intensive, it takes less time, can often be overwhelming, and it's also secluded, but again, it really helps the person in a short period of time get the treatment they need instead of waiting 3 to 5 years and spending all that time in individual therapy, which is still a good option. And then, of course, the 12-step programs of recovery from sex addiction, where you've got the support of like-minded people, where you're in rooms with other people that are having success, and you can focus and truly get the recovery you need. Please visit our YouTube channel on sex addiction for more videos on sex addiction and recovery from sex addiction. Also, visit our blog at www.onsexaddiction.com. There you'll find a free video explaining what sex addiction is, 7 symptoms of sex addiction, the 4 traumas of sex addiction, the 4 faulty core beliefs set up by those traumas, as well as the solution, the 7 paths to success and recovery from sex addiction. There's also more information about sex addiction and sex addiction recovery.